Right. Okay, Lamai. Today, my main focus is to discuss money creation. Right. You know that commercial banking system, commercial banking system is able to create deposits, Lamai. Right. It's called money illusion. Right. Today, we are going to talk about a stage drama, stage play. Okay, the Lamai. It's known as money illusion. Okay, money illusion means commercial banks, only commercial banks, the commercial banks, they can create deposits. They can create deposits by keeping a small part as reserves. They can create new deposits which are part of money supply. Okay, that is the most dangerous part in an economy. So, central bank has to monitor. Central bank has to guide these commercial banking system very carefully, Lamai, because they can create new deposits, demand deposits, leading money supply to increase, right? So yeah, this is the starting point of money creation process. Okay, look at this. That's 100% reserve banking and fractional reserve banking. Put a 100 reserve banking system mean the all deposits coming from deposit holders or general public are kept as reserves, Lama, without lending any single rupee, right? All deposits kept as reserves. Any question, Lama? Can you hear me clearly? No issue, right? Right. What are the two banking system, Lama? First one is there are two banking systems. Number one, 100% reserve banking. 100% reserve banking system and fractional banking system. Fractional banking. Okay, the Lamai. 100% banking system mean Lamai. All deposits are kept as reserves. Can you remember reserves, Lamai? Money items, right? 100% bank reserve banking system mean that this is a very simplified balance sheet of a commercial bank. Now you know what are the items, okay, what are the components of a balance sheet of a commercial bank. This is very simplified, very simple balance sheet of a commercial bank, right? Balance sheet or statement of financial position. Here are my deposits. Assume deposits. This bank has receives deposits. 1,000 rupees, Lama. Just imagine 1,000 rupees, right? Then this bank, 100% reserve banking system in all deposits, all deposited funds are kept as reserves now, right? Reserves. Okay, Lamai. What is the purpose of keeping reserves, Lamai? Can you remember? There are two conflicting objectives to be balanced, Lamai, to be achieved. The first one is liquidity, other one is profitability. Reserves are kept to achieve liquidity, to protect the trust of general public, Lamai. Okay, reserves. Remember, reserves are not able to generate any profit. No profit, but liquidity 100%. Can you remember? Sitma, can you hear me, Lamai? Okay, right. So remember, 100% reserve banking system means all deposited funds are kept as reserves. Here, Lamai, no loans zero. Okay, the Lamai. So actually, this is not practical today, right? This balance sheet belong to ancient time period, Lamai. Okay, at the very beginning, Lamai, right? The ancient time. Okay, the time period that bank started. Okay, centuries ago. This is the way the balance sheet appeared, Lamai. Okay, the all deposited funds were kept as reserves without lending out. Okay, the Lamai, right? Uh, Actually, this is not practical today, right? It's not totally not practical at all, because every commercial bank has to balance two objectives, Lamai: liquidity and profitability. According to this balance sheet, Lamai, no any single profit. These are public limited institute, the companies. How to survive? They need profit as well. So this is not practical, but remember there are two concepts called 100% reserve banking and fractional banking system. Okay, so 100% reserve banking system mean, what does it mean, Lamai? All deposits are kept as reserves without giving any single rupee or any single amount as loans. Okay, this is not totally impractical, Lamai, right? Practical, not practical at all in this century, Lamai, right? Fractional, remember, Lamai, this banking system, 100% reserve banking system cannot uh, create deposits, Lamai, right? So this is not much useful for us, Lamai, right? The fractional banking system means, that fractional mean, Lamai, proportion. Part of deposits is kept as reserves, other part given as. In other words, Lamai, here the banks tries to balance both conflicting objectives, liquidity and profitability. Okay, the Lamai, it's simple. What do they do, Lamai? Balance sheet. Assume total deposits, let's say, Lamai, 1,000. Bank has accepted 1,000 as deposits. Okay, the Lamai. Now bank has funds, Lamai. Yeah, someone else funds, but anyway, they have deposited funds 1,000 rupees. Here, what does bank do? Part of RR mean, Lamai, reserves. Okay, reserves. Part of these deposits is kept as reserves. Assume, Lamai, 200 kept as reserves. Okay, other 800 rupees, Lamai, uh, given as loans, lent out. Okay, the Lamai. Then you can see balance sheet, balance 1,000. Clear, the Lamai. This reserves, why this bank has kept some reserves, Lamai? The reason is this is 200 is for liquidity purpose, Lamai. Liquidity 800 these loans, okay, the Lamai, they generate profit, right? So 800 kept to achieve profit objective, profitability. Okay, the Lamai. So fractional banking system means the banking system in which part of deposits, a part of deposits kept as reserves, while other part is lent out to general public with objective to earn profit, Lamai. Okay, this is the balance sheet. This is the banking system we need. Okay, this is the balance sheet or the banking system, very practical. Okay, it's a today's balance sheet, Lama. This is it's gone, Lama. Okay, we cannot see balance sheet or banking system like this now. Totally gone. This is the practical one. This is the balance sheet, Lamai. This is the balance sheet we use to discuss commercial banking system's money creation process, money illusion. Okay, but remember the difference between these two: 100% reserve banking and fractional banking. Clear the lamai? මේකේ ඩිපොසිට්ස් ඔක්කොම රිසර්ව්ස් විදියට තියාගන්න අය මේක එහෙම නෑ ළමයි. ඕන බෑන්ක් එකක් කරන්නේ මේක තමයි ළමයි. එන ඩිපොසිට්ස් වලින් ටිකක් තියෙනවා රිසර්ව්ස් වලට. හදිස්සියවත් මිනිස්සු ඇවිල්ලා ඉල්ලුවොත් දෙන්න. accounts වලට. මේක fractional. මේක 100% නේද ළමයි? anything ළමයි? පුනාරා?
No, sir.
Okay. Sandil, Remoni, Vaishu. Right, put a star mark and write down my fractional banking system. Sorry, 100% reserve banking system. Write down. It is a banking system. Banking system in which all deposits, or we can say deposited funds, deposits are kept as reserves. Kept as reserves while I'm not well actually. Sneezing and right. All deposits are kept as reserves while can say not ending. Okay? All deposits are kept as reserves. That's it. Here no loans. No loans mean no profit. No profit mean bank cannot even survive. Okay, that's why I told you this banking system is not my practical. Okay, the next one, fractional reserve banks are the financial institutions which hold fractional, right? It's talking about fractional. Holds a portion of deposits as reserves, while other portion of deposits is lent out with objective of earning. Okay, the lamai. Fractional banking system. This is a commercial banking system in which each bank maintains, highlight lamai, each bank maintains only a fraction mean percentage lamai, part, proportion, small percentage of total deposits accepted by them for general public as reserve. ටිකක් තියාගන්න reserves වලට. As liquid reserves mean liquidity lamai, 100% liquid assets. Okay, and extend a major part of such deposits as loans and advances to borrowers and demanders of loans and earn profit. Okay, the lamai. Then in modern banking systems, such fractional reserve banking is ensured by enforcing a statutory or legal reserves ratio requirement by the relevant financial authority or central bank. I'll explain. Or central. Okay, right. Remember the difference between 100% reserve banking system and fractional banking system. Okay, the lamai. Any doubt? Right. Next point, Lamai, main concepts regarding money creation or deposits creation. Money creation or deposits creation. First one, Lamai, fractional reserve based banking, because normally fractional banking system engage with this money creation process, Lamai. I have already discussed this point. I'm not going to explain fractional reserve banking system. Next one, Lamai, the, you should know reserves, right? What reserves are, right? Cash or money or reserves of LCB mean lamai licensed commercial banks. Third one, statutory reserve ratio. Fourth one, excess reserves. Right. First one, lamai cash or reserves of LCBs. Right. Okay, lamai. Listen me carefully. There are three concepts. First one, lamai reserves. First one, reserves. I'll prepare a small balance sheet, lamai. This is a balance sheet of a commercial bank, right? දැන් කියන්න එපා මේ සර් අපි එදා ලොකු බැලන්ස් ෂීට් එකක් කතා කරේ මේක පොඩි එකක් නෑ අපි කැල්කුලේෂන්ස් වලට ගන්න පොඩි එකක් තමයි ළමයි නේද ළමයි අර ඔක්කොම තියෙන ඒවා දාලා කැල්කුලේෂන් කරන්න බෑ හරිද this is very simplified simple balance sheet okay ද ළමයි balance sheet or you can say statement of financial position no issue හරිද ළමයි right deposits. Can you remember, Lama? The deposits are recorded as a liability because this the deposited funds, someone else funds, okay, the Lama need to be paid back. Okay, bank is liable to pay these deposits back to the depositors. So deposits are liabilities, Lama. They are recorded as liabilities. Okay, deposits. Assume Lama deposits. The total deposits yes 1,000. Okay, the lamai. Then fractional banking system holds one part of these deposits as reserves, lamai. Then reserves. Reserves. Assume lamai reserves is let's say 200. Then other 800 given as loans. Reserves and loans are assets for a commercial bank. Okay, then this is a balance sheet of a commercial bank 1,000 and clear the level, right? Then here there are three concepts. Second one is reserves, lamai. Puta, what is mean by reserves? What is mean by reserves? Okay, page number 11. There is a separate topic for reserves, lamai. Can you write down this definition over there? Cash or money reserves of LCB reserves. Reserves. Put a star mark and write down Lamai reserves. Reserves mean perfectly liquid assets lamai. Put a star mark and write down perfectly liquid asset. Perfectly liquid. Liquid mean lamai? Perfectly liquid. Perfectly liquid. They can use, so banks can use these assets, these reserves as a medium of exchange lamai. No need to convert into another form of money to use as a medium of 100% liquid. Can you remember lamai? Liquidity, right? Liquid reserves or assets. Reserves. Okay, the lamai. So that normally these reserves are kept by commercial bank in two sources. In two sources. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ටික අර බැංක් එකේම නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. There are these reserves, this perfect liquid assets. It is a part of deposits is kept in two sources ළමයි. The first one write down. These are perfect liquid assets. First one is cash on hands. Cash on hand. Cash on hand. Okay, the ළමයි. Or we can say these are cash balances ළමයි. අර ඔයාලා බැංක් එකට ගියාම තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. Cash balances. අර counter එකේ තියෙන ළමයි cash balances. මේවට තමයි cash on hand. Second part ළමයි, write down due from. There's a new one ළමයි. Due from, not new one. Due from, it's not much familiar, right? Due from CB. CB mean ළමයි central bank. Okay, the ළමයි. Within bracket write down ළමයි cash deposits. Cash deposits at cash deposits of LCBs, licensed commercial banks, at central bank. Okay, the lamai. This is called lamai central bank current account. Or we can say central bank current account. Central bank current account. Okay, the lamai. So remember these reserves are, there are two forms lamai. First one, part of reserves is kept as cash on hand. Other one due from central bank. Due from central bank mean lamai, part of these reserves is deposited in central bank lamai. In a current account lamai. In a current account. Remember Buddha, every commercial bank has to have a current account in central bank. Okay, the lamai. Current account in central bank. So central bank asks commercial banks to deposit part of these reserves in that current account lamai. Remember. Okay, this is called due from central bank. Clear the lamai. අර reserves තියනවා තැන් දෙකක ළමයි. part එකක් කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? as cash on hand ටිකක් තියෙනවා bank එකේ. ඉතුරු ටික කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ ළමයි? bank එකේ නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. කොහෙද? central bank එකේ. central bank එකේ current account එකක් තියෙනවා හැම bank එකකටම. ඒකේ ටිකක් deposit කළා දෙනවා. මේක තමයි due from CB. අර ඔයාලට මතකද ළමයි අපි අර RR කියලා කතා කරේ ළමයි. This is called CKB. අර මොකද්ද මේ high powered money supply cal කරද්දි ළමයි. CKB, other parties RR. RR mean due from central bank ළමයි. Right? Money balances owned by commercial banks. These money balances owned by commercial banks, but now they are at central bank, central bank's current account. Clear the lemon. Okay, right. These are called reserves. So remember, these reserves are kept in two main places. What are the places, lemon? First one cash on hand, other one due from central bank. Use from central bank mean lamai, the money is at central bank's current account. Okay, the lamai. Clear the bala? Itma punara.
Please.
Clear. Remoni, Tandil. Write down this note for reserves. Reserves note has not been given lamai. Balanda clear the killer. Harida, Sitma, Tandil. Okay, right. Then look at the board lama. Yes. Right. Then Lamai here, you can see this bank has organized its asset structure. Okay, the Lamai. Balancing both objectives of liquidity and profitability. How do you say that, Lamai? Because this 200 million reserves kept to achieve liquidity purpose, 800 for profitability. 800 for profitability. Okay, the Lamai. Remember these 200 million reserves are not strong enough to generate any profit lamai. No single profit lamai. Okay, just kept as reserves, no any profit. Okay, the lamai. But what about loans? They create profit. These are illiquid assets, no liquidity, but profitability is high. Okay, the lamai. Highest earning asset in the balance sheet. Okay, the lamai. So sometimes, Lamai, these commercial banks can be greedy. Why? They try to overlend, Lamai. Overlend means they try to reduce this portion because no any profit, Lamai. They try to reduce this portion, the part of the part of deposits kept as reserves, and try to lend out more money to the general public, Lamai, expecting more profit. Clear the Lamai? In commercial banks can be because the main objective is to earn profit lamai. They can be greedy lamai. So they try to reduce the reserves while increasing loans lamai. Clear the lamai. එයාට හිතනවා මේ මෙතන මේ ටු අපරාධ මේක මෙතන යන් ඉන්නේ නේ මුකුත් ප්‍රොෆිට් එකක් නෑ ඕක පොඩි ගාණක් තිබ්බනම් ඇති මම ටික ටික එයා කරන්නේ loans වලට දෙන්න බලනවා. So it's called over lending. Okay the lamai. Over lending. Okay the lamai. Then lamai, this is not good. Why? If something happens, assume lamai, the commercial bank, yes, now reserve total deposits 1000, reserves 50, and loans 950 lamai. This is a type of overlending lamai. Okay, this commercial bank has kept very small amount as reserves. Okay, the lamai 95% of deposits has been lent out. This is the sign of bankruptcy, my wife. The bank, there's a possibility to go bankrupt. Because if depositors come and ask money, okay, the lamai, this bank does not have enough money to pay. Okay, the lamai. So it's a big problem on bank, the trust of general public. So to avoid lamai, to avoid this overlending, right? To avoid this overlending of commercial bank, what central bank has done is lamai, central bank introduce a legal ratio lamai, that is called statutory reserve ratio, right? Central bank says all commercial banks have to keep at least minimum 20% of deposits as reserves. Make a legal percentage එකක් ළමයි. හරිද? කාටවත් මේක ඒ කියන්නේ 20% අනිවාර්යෙන් තියාගන්න ඕන reserves වල. Clear ළමයි. overlend කරන්න බෑ. 20% at least 20% must be kept. You get the point? This is called SRR. Statutory reserve requirement. Statutory reserve requirement means is a percentage which is given by central bank, which is given by central bank. And also, Lama, remember, it is a law. It's a legal, statutory mean legal, Lama. What did you ask? Reserve, I'm talking about a statutory reserve ratio. Okay, wait. Right. Okay, so what I need to say, I'll come to that point. Okay, statutory reserve ratio mean is a legal ratio, Lamai. Okay, legal ratio which is given by central bank. Okay, asking all commercial banks to keep a certain part of deposits as reserves, Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. This is a legal. Okay, it's mean Lamai. If SRR is 20% Lamai, all commercial bank have to, all commercial banks have to keep 20% of deposits, 20% of deposits as reserves. Clear the Lamai. එතකොට මෙතන අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ළමයි 1000 into 20% කියන්නේ 200 නේ ළමයි. 200 අනිවාර්යෙන්ම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Clearද? මෙතන $200 කියන්නේ they keep less than 200 lamai, then bank license will be cancelled lamai. They cannot work as a commercial bank anymore. Clear the lamai. So 20, this legal ratio, SRR ratio is compulsory. It's a legal requirement. Okay, this is called SRR. SRR means statutory reserve ratio. Statutory reserve ratio. Statutory reserve ratio mean lamai the percentage. Okay, has the definition been given? Yes, look at the board, sorry, the cute lama. Hey, lama. Statutory reserve ratio, read it. The statutory reserve ratio, SRR, is the portion of deposit liability, proportion of deposit liabilities that commercial banks are required to keep as a cash deposit with central bank. Under CBSL Act number 16 of 2023, commercial banks are required to maintain reserves with central bank at rate. Don't worry about this point, Lamai. At present, SRR ratio is 2%, Lamai. What does it mean, Lamai? Every commercial bank has to keep, every commercial bank has to hold 2% of deposits as reserves. 2% of reserves as reserve, 2% of deposits as reserve. නේද? එතකොට බැංක්ස් වලට අනිත් 98% lend කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි 2% is a compulsory to is a compulsory. 2% reserves are compulsory. 2% deposits has to be kept as reserves. Why has central bank introduced such a legal ratio, Lamai? To avoid overlending, Lamai. To avoid overlending. Because banks, Lamai, they can be ඕකේද ළමයි ප්‍රොෆිට් නේ ළමයි හැමෝම ආසයි එයා බලනවා අර රිසර්ව් ටික අඩු කරලා කොහොම හරි බලනවා ලෝන්ස් වැඩි කරන්න මේක එච්චර හොඳ නෑ ළමයි මොකක් හරි වුණොත් එහෙම සිස්ටම් එකම collapse. Okay, the statutory reserve ratio is identified using alternative terms such as variable reserve reserve ratio, legal reserve ratio, required reserve ratio, and also cash reserve ratio or money ratio. There are so many. Clear the lamai. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි SRR තමයි use කරන්නේ. Statutory Reserve Rate. ඕකේද ළමයි? Statutory Reserve Ratio. Then what is mean by statutory reserve ratio ළමයි? SRR. Statutory reserve ratio. Statutory reserve ratio mean statutory reserve ratio. What does it mean ළමයි? It's a percentage. Percentage of deposits. Percentage or proportion of deposit. Proportion of deposit that commercial banks are required to keep as reserves. Okay, the lamai. It can be 10%, it can be 2%. Okay, the lamai. This rate is changed by central bank time to time based on the economic conditions. Clear the lamai. How economy is the current economic conditions lamai. Okay, right. Now SRR is 2% lamai. What does it mean? Every commercial bank has to hold 2% of deposits as reserves. If not, they cannot operate as a commercial bank anymore. Remember, it's type of illegal lamai. Clear that? Right. Purpose of imposing or introducing SRR is to avoid overlending. Avoid overlending by commercial banks to earn more profit lamai. Clear the lamai. Right. Then next concept is lamai excess reserves. Next one is excess reserve. Now you know the concept lamai. Excess reserves mean lamai. The excess reserves mean if bank has kept more than statutory reserve, okay, more than statutory reserves, that part is called excess. Okay, the lamai. Excess reserves has definition not given, right? Put a star mark and write down excess reserves. Excess reserves mean lamai the additional reserves or reserves which exceed statutory part. It's called excess reserve. Lama in Sri Lanka, remember every commercial bank uh, holds excess reserves. Lama. Excess reserves mean lamai more than what central bank asks, right? Example, central bank asks banks to keep 2%, but 2% of deposits as reserves, but commercial bank keep more than 2%. That's part is called excess. Okay, the lamai. Excess reserves mean, put a star mark and write down excess reserves. The difference between, write down the difference between excess reserves, the difference between actual reserves, actual reserves, actual reserves. So the actual reserves mean this part, how much the reserves which is shown by your balance sheet, Lama. Okay, actual reserves and statutory reserves, statutory reserves, statutory, statutory reserves, and also Write down my equation. Excess reserves equals, I'll write here. Excess reserves equals okay the lamai actual reserves minus statutory reserves statutory reserves statutory reserves. Okay the lamai short form lamai we can say excess reserves ER equals actual reserves minus statutory reserves. But remember lamai this abbreviation is not standard one. Okay the lamai though we use it excess reserves equals actual reserve minus statutory reserves, it's not standard one. Okay the lamai but in your exam you can use it, no any issue. දැන් අර ඉකෝන් වල තියෙනවනේ ළමයි AD mean aggregate demand. This is standard abbreviation, right? AS mean aggregate supply. These are very the world recognized abbreviations lamai. You get the point. D is used for the demand curve, right? MPC, MP, these are standard abbreviation. These are not well recognized or standard abbreviations, but you can use them. Okay the lamai no issue, right? When you calculate excess reserves you can use this simple or this short form, no issue, no need to write this the whole equation. But remember those are not standard abbreviations in economics. You get the point. Okay the lamai right. Shall we move to first example lamai? Excess reserves, it can be calculated as follows equation. Okay, example number 1. Any doubt lamai? Excess කියන්නේ අර තමයි sorry දැන් මෙයා කියනවානේ legally 2% තියන්න ඕනි. හැබැයි 2% වලට වැඩිය එයා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට වැඩියෙන් තියා ගන්නවා. වැඩියෙන් තියෙන ගානට කියන excess reserves. Okay ද ළමයි? The reserves which exceeds statutory part. Okay ද ළමයි? තේද බලන්න ළමයි? හරිද? Let's move to first example. Example number 1. So the equation, are you okay? Are you done?
Yes,
Kunara,
sir.
Sandil. හරිද ළමයි? Okay, right. First example. Okay, the lamai. Right. Simple, very simplified balance sheet has been given. Example number 1. Balance sheet, or you can say statement of financial position. Deposits. How much the value lamai? 5,000. Again, bank again deposits හම්බ වෙලා තියෙනවා 5,000 ළමයි. Deposits are recorded as a liability. This side is the left hand side is liability side. Okay, the remaining. This side is asset side ළමයි. හරිද? Asset and liability. Normally deposits are recorded for as liabilities because bank is liable to pay these deposits ළමයි. Clear? Reserves බලන්න ළමයි. Look at the board. Don't do any calculation. Look at the board. I'll give you time to write it down. Look at the board ළමයි. Reserves. Reserves mean ළමයි. Yes, 100% liquid, perfectly liquid. Part of reserves which is kept as, oh sorry, part of deposits which kept as reserves. Clear? මේ 5000 වලින් මෙයා 1500 ළමයි reserves විදියට තියාගන්නවා. Reserves. Remember, these reserves are kept in two separate places. What are the two places, Sitma? These reserves are kept in two places. What part of 1500 is with commercial bank, yeah, it's mean as cash on hand. Other part with central bank. Clear ළමයි. එතකොට මේක තමයි අර ඔයාලා කිව්වේ ළමයි CKB. CKB mean the cash on hand, cash with commercial banks ළමයි. Okay ද ළමයි. Other part, this part is very important for future calculations ළමයි. Okay, and other part is RR. RR mean due from central bank. Part of this 1500 is kept or is with or is at the current account, in a current account of central bank. Okay, the level, right? Reserves, loans, how much lamai? Loans 3500, loans 3500. Then balance sheet gets balance 5000 here, 5000. Okay, the lamai, right? Then if the statutory reserve ratio of this economy is 15%, lamai, what does it mean? Every commercial bank has to keep 15% of deposits, 15% of deposits as reserves. As reserve. It's a must, lamai, remember. They cannot go beyond that. They cannot keep 10% of deposits as reserves. They cannot keep 5% of deposits as reserves. How much the given percentage, lamai? 15%. So remember, banks are required, right? Banks are required to keep 15% of deposits that bank has accepted as reserves. If not, they cannot operate as a commercial bank in the economy anymore, lamai. Remember, if we needly, central bank will cancel the license. Okay, so this is a must, remember. SRR ratio is a statutory, remember this word, lamai. Statutory mean legal. Statutory mean legal, right? Okay, it's mean lamai 15% of 5000. How much the value? Tandi, total deposit 5000. Statutory reserve ratio is 15%. What does it mean? 15% of 5000 deposits. How much the value is it? 750. What does it mean, lamai? 750 deposits. Total deposits 5000. 750 has to be kept as reserves in the commercial bank, lamai. Other part can be lent out, lamai. No any doubt. Okay, the lamai. So the requirement, the required amount that need to be kept as reserves is 750, but bank has held how much, lamai? 1500. Then you can see there is a something excess, lamai. Okay, the requirement is 750 according to central bank SRR ratio, but bank has kept more than what is necessary. Okay, the lamai, what is required, that excess part is called, excess amount is called excess. You get the point? How to calculate excess reserve? This is the equation, lamai. Write down the equation. Excess reserves equals excess reserves equals actual reserves, lamai. Actual reserves minus statutory reserves. Okay, the lamai. Actual reserves කියන්නේ මේ ඔයාගේ balance sheet එකේ තියෙන value එක. How much? 1500. Clear the lamai? 1500 minus statutory part. Statutory part mean, lamai, the amount that commercial bank has to keep as reserves according to central bank's regulations. Okay, the central bank ratio is 15%. So 5,000 is the deposit amount, 5,000 into 15%. ඒ කියන්නේ සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් එක කියන රයිට් ඔයාලට 5000 ඩිපොසිට්ස් තියනවනේ ඇවිල්ලා ඔයා ගාව දැන් කෑෂ් තියෙනවා 5000 මට 5000 ඔයා ගාව තියාගන්න එපා මට එහෙම ඕනි නෑ හැබැයි 15% නම් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඔයා තියාගන්න ඕන ක්ලියර් ඊට පස්සේ ඉතුරු 85% ඔයා ලෝන්ස් වලට දෙන්න මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ මම බලන්නෙත් නෑ මට වැඩකුත් නෑලා හැබැයි 15% ඩිපොසිට්ස් තියෙන්න ඕන මොනවද රිසර්ව්ස් වල okay the right then 1500 minus the required reserve value is 750 then you can Lama, you can see this bank has kept excess reserves of 750 excess reserves of 750 remember Lamai if this bank wants this 750 excess reserves can be given as loans okay the Lamai remember this 750 can be given or lent out lent බලන්න ක්ලියර්ද කියලා ළමයි පුනාරා රෙමෝනි
Yes, sir.
okay ළමයි ලංකාවේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ excess reserves තියනවා ළමයි තියද අර ඒක නිකන් අර buffer stock එකක් වගේ ළමයි for additional safety all commercial bank in Sri Lanka keep excess reserves ළමයි ඒ කියන්නේ excess reserves කියන්නේ this 750 ළමයි this 7 this commercial bank could have given this 750 as loans ළමයි because the minimum requirement is 750 ළමයි 1500 තියාගන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ clearද but එයාලා 1500 තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා reserves වල for additional safety it's a type of the loss of income ළමයි why they have sacrificed okay the ළමයි if they had given this 750 as a loans ළමයි okay the ළමයි loans or advance they could have earned something ළමයි did you get the point type of opportunity cost clear but normally in Sri Lanka ළමයි all commercial banks keep some excess reserves expecting some additional safety okay the ළමයි right Sandil Remoni හරිද clearද
Yes.
okay right example number 2 do it ළමයි example number 2 example number 2 ළමයි මේ අර short equation එක ලිව්වට කමක් නැහැ මේක අවුලක් නෑ ඒක නෑ excess sorry excess reserves ER equals actual reserves minus statutory part ඒක අවුලක් නෑ මේක ලොකු එක ලියන්න ඕනේ නෑ හරිද නේද right so that this is the 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 first starting point of deposit expansion process you should be able to calculate excess reserves ළමයි excess reserves how much the commercial bank has kept excess as excess okay the ළමයි right example number 2 the balance sheet of a commercial bank is given below deposits reserves and loans if the statutory reserve ratio of this economy is 10% calculate the excess reserves in this bank calculate the excess reserves of this bank excess reserves of this excess reserves of this bank excess reserves of example number 2 deposits 1500 reserves how much lamai 750 ne 750 loans also 750 okay the nama balance sheet simplified balance sheet 1000 lamai actual reserves you can see the actual reserves mean the reserves amount which is shown by your the balance sheet lamai okay how much 750 750 තියෙනවා හැබැයි ස්ටැටුටරි එච්චර ඕනේ නැහැ සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් එකේ රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක කොච්චරද ළමයි 10%. යා කියනවා ඔයාට එන ඩිපොසිට්ස් වලින් 10% රිසර්ව්ස් වල තියන්න. ඉතුරු ටික ලෝන්ස් නෙමෙයි මොනවා කරත් මට වැඩක්. ක්ලියර්ද ළමයි? Then statutory part ළමයි total deposit තමයි. Remember when calculating statutory reserves you have to use deposits, right? Statutory reserve mean the percentage of deposits which has to be kept as reserves. Okay, the lamai 1500 deposit amount into 10%. Okay, then 750 minus මෙතන 150 ළමයි එන්නේ. ඕනේ 150 which mean ළමයි this bank has excess reserves of 600 million. Oh my god. Big excess reserve. Massive excess reserve. Okay, the ළමයි. It's not type of over lending ළමයි. It's type of under lending ළමයි. Right? This bank could have given this 600 as loans and could have earned something additional. Type of sacrifice opportunity cost there. Clear the lamai? Remoni? Kunara?
Clear, sir.
Right. Okay, lamai. Then example number 3. Do it yourself, lamai. Give a try. Now, lamai, in example number 3, no balance sheet given. You have to prepare a balance sheet. Prepare a small balance sheet, lamai. T1, T later. Example number 3. Prepare the balance sheet. Balance sheet is not given. You have to prepare the balance sheet. Bank has 600 billion deposit. Deposit 600. Here 600 and 150 billion reserves. Then reserves 150. Then other here total amount should be 600 nilamai. Then loan should be 450. Neda? 400. If they have not mentioned anything about other assets, lamai the difference between this the 450 okay should be loans lamai. Take it as loans if they have not mentioned anything specifically. Okay the lamai. Deposit 600 නේ ළමයි. Reserves 150 නම් ඉතුරු ටික loans වෙන්න ඕනි. හරි නේද රෙමෝන්? රෙමෝනේ මොකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. Clear the ළමයි? Right. Now excess reserves equal how much? ළමයි SRR rate not given, right? Right. Assume ළමයි SRR rate is 5%. Right. Sorry, SRR is 5%. SRR rate is 5%. Required reserve ratio is 5%. 5%. Excess actual reserves how much lamai? 150. My yeah minus how much the amount of reserves that must be kept as reserves lah. How much of deposits that need to be kept as reserves lamai? 600 into 5%. 600 into 5%. මෙයාලා 150 තියාගත්තට එච්චර ඕනේ නෑ ළමයි. ඒතකොට 30 නේද? 5% mean ඔව් 30. Okay ද ළමයි? This means this bank has excess reserves of 120. Excess reserves of 120. This 120 can be lent out, generating an additional. Clear ද බලන්න ළමයි? Right. So that do example number 5 yourself and send example number 5. Oh no, sorry, fourth one, sorry. Fourth one. Lamai, example number 4, the balance sheet in example number 4 has a part called securities. Don't worry about securities, Lamai, because you know that part, Lamai. Securities mean treasury bills and treasury bond. Can you remember the second part of asset side, Lamai? Investment assets. Reserves, here you have been given additional part as security. No need to worry, Lamai. Here lamai excess reserves amount given. No need to calculate excess reserves, but you need to calculate SRR rate. Second question asking that what is the largest amount of new loans that this bank can issue. What a photo එකක් දාන්න ළමයි. Sorry llama. Example number 4, total liability should be 5,000. There's a problem, right? Wait llama, wait. Yeah. lamai correct deposits as 5,000. Deposits 5,000, no? Then it's okay, right? Loans 2,000, yeah, then it's okay. Deposits 5,000. Deposits 5,000, not 4,000. Deposit amount should be 5,000. Again, deposits 5,000 කරගන්න ළමයි. Sample number 4, deposits asset side එකයි රෙමෝනි liability side එක equal වෙන්න. හරිද? equal නෑ. එතකොට මේකේ deposits 5,000 කරන්න. 5,000. අර total liability එකත් 5,000 කරන්න. එතනත් 5,000. Total liabilities 5,000. Total assets එකත් 5,000. %. Yeah, good. සිත්ම මේ SRR ratio එක අහන්න එතකොට. Calculate the statutory reserve ratio. හරි, statutory reserve එක 400. ratio එක කියන්නේ central bank එකේ අර එයා කියන ratio එක 10% ද 50%. Sandeep, give a try. Unara, yeah, your answer is correct. Try to answer second part of the deposits 5,000. Reserves 1,000. Securities. බය වෙන්න එපා ළමයි මේවා දුන්නාට. Securities 2,000. Loans also 2000. Total assets 5000. Total liabilities also 5. Trust. So I divided RR by D. 8%. Yeah, good. Yeah. So you can use this equation. What is the original equation, Lama? Excess reserves equals, look at the board, Lama. Excess reserves equals actual reserves minus statutory reserves. මේ බලන්න ළමා. Excess reserves given. How much the value? 600. Actual reserves 1000. මේක තමයි actual reserves ළමයි. 1000. Minus how to calculate the statutory part ළමයි. Statutory mean proportion of or the percentage of deposits that must be held as reserves ළමයි. කොහොමද අපි SRR කරකලන්නේ ළමයි? 5% into SRR rate ළමයි. Here the deposit amount is 5000 into you can say SRR ළමයි. කොහොමනේ අපි කරේ නේද? මේ deposits වලින් අපි දන්න SRR rate එක මෙතන. එතන X හරි මොකක් හරි දාන්න ළමයි. නැත්නම් අර ඔයාලගේ method එකත් හරි. නේද ළමයි? Okay ද ළමයි? Right. Then 600 into 1000 minus අපි එතන X දාමුනේ ලේසි නේද ළමයි එතකොට. 50x 50 into x 50x lamai. Okay the lamai. Then this becomes plus 50x 1000 minus 600. Okay, then 50x equals 400 and divided by 50 divided by 50. Okay the lamai. X equals 8%. Should be 8. Here x mean lamai SRR. නේද ළමයි? එහෙම නැත්නම් වාට මෙහෙම කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. Excess reserves equals actual reserves minus statutory reserves නේ ළමයි. Excess reserves 600. Actual reserves 1000. Then you can calculate statutory reserves. Okay? How to calculate statutory reserves, Remoni? මෙයාව මෙහෙට ගන්න. එතකොට statutory reserves equals 1000 minus 600. The next statutory reserve is 400 ළමයි. හරි නේද? 400. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයි 5000 වලට 400 අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියන්න ඕන බැංක් එකේ. statutory කියන්නේ ඒකනේ ළමයි. 5000 deposits වලට reserves legally තියන්න ඕන 400. එතකොට ඔයාලට ගන්න පුළුවන් 5000 වලට 400 නම් නේද? මතකද අර O level mathematics. 400 required, 400 are required for 5000 deposits. Then if deposit is 100, how much need to be kept as reserves? Clear? එතකොට 8% එනවා නේද ළමයි? 8%. මේකත් හරි. ඔය පුනාරායම කළා තියෙන්නේ මේක අවුලක් නැහැ. මෙතනින් 400 අරගෙන ඒක මෙම කන්වර්ට් කරත් හරි. නැත්තම් මේකත් හරි. නේද ළමයි? රෙමෝනි ක්ලියර්ද පුතා? හරිද? පුනාරා? ඉත්ම? සන්දීල්?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Statutory part is 400. Yes, okay. 400. Okay, the lamai. Then 400 is required for 5000 deposits. If 400 is required for 5000, okay, the lamai. How much reserves need to be kept for 100 deposits? It should be 8%. Clear the lamai. Right. Second one is asking Give me an answer for second one, Punara. What is the largest amount of new loans that this bank can issue? Largest amount of new loans. Sandeep, largest amount of new loans. 2000 has been already issued, Lamai. New loans. How much of new loans can this bank grant or issue? 600. Very good, Lamai. That amount equals your statutory reserve. Sorry, my excess reserves, Lamai. Clear? එකන මෙතන එක්සස් තේරවානේ 600 මේ එක්සස් ඉතින් අපරාධ මෙයා නිකන් තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ මෙයාට ලෝන්ස් වලට ඉෂුව කරන්න පුළුවන් එතකොට මෙයා ඉෂුව කරනවා නම් maximum 600 loans තාව ඉෂුව කරන්න පුළුවන් clear ළමයි the largest new loan amount that this bank can issue is 600 which is equal to your excess reserves ළමයි that's why I told you at the beginning excess reserves can be given lent out can be given as loans ළමයි right so answer for second one the maximum new loan amount maximum new loan that bank can issue is how much lamai 600 million 600 million which is equal to excess reserves excess clear balana lamai hari neda the largest new loan amount that this bank can grant right 2012 A level paper question Remoni, are you okay puta anything
Yes, sir.
yeah 2012 A level paper question again lamai you don't have a balance sheet okay prepare a balance sheet based on given data information it's very simple lamai no need everything given lamai cash reserves mean reserve amount 200 loan 800 and deposits 1000 prepare the balance sheet if the bank maintains a reserve requirement mean srr what is the largest loan it can make so that it's not asking new loan right what is the largest loan it can make the largest loan amount it can make Okay, the lamai. Remoni, lamai, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Remoni, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Right, A level 2012. Okay, right. Yeah, good, Punara. Very good. Uh, yeah, yeah. Your one also corrects it. Sandil and Remoni, please send me your answers. Sandil, 8. Prepare the balance sheet part A, balance sheet, commercial cash reserves 200. Cash reserves mean my reserves 200 and loans 800, loans 800 and deposits 1000. This is the balance sheet lama. 1000 and 1000. Lama, this question says, look at the top of the question. Assume that one of the commercial banks in the banking system. What does it mean, Lavan? This is the balance sheet of one individual commercial bank which is operating in the banking system. What does it mean, Lavan? Example, what is mean by banking system? Group of net bank network. Example, Lavan. Sri Lanka, HNB Bank, right? Sampath Bank, People's Bank, okay? Ceylon Bank. This is called banking system, right? Here you have been given a balance sheet of one bank. It might be HNB Bank's balance sheet, which is operating in a banking system. You get the point, Lama? Balance sheet of one commercial bank. Yeah, it's correct. Which is operating in a banking system. Banking system. Okay, the Lama, right? Yeah, next one. Prepare the balance sheet. This is the answer for press question. Part B. If the bank maintains reserve requirement 12%, Lamai, to calculate the maximum loan amount or how much additional loans can bank give this, everything depends on excess reserves, Lamai. Calculate excess reserve. The second question is not directly asking you to calculate excess reserves. You need to calculate excess reserves to answer part 2, part B. Right, excess reserves equals my actual reserves minus statutory reserves. My actual reserves 200 minus statutory reserves, uh, deposits into SRR ratio. Deposits into SRR ratio. SRR rate is 12%. 12%. What does it mean, Lamai? 12% of deposits need to be kept, must be kept as reserves. But banks has held 200. The required value is 120, Lamai. Then excess amount is 80. Okay, the Lamai. This 80 million excess reserves can be lent out. Second question asking Lamai the total loan amount. The total loan amount should be Lamai 800 already been given Lamai. So 800 plus this bank has excess reserves of 80 which can be given as excess reserves, sorry, which can be given as loans. So 80 plus 800 plus 80, a total loan amount that this bank can grant is 880. Okay, the Lamai. New loan amount this bank can give is 80. This is a new loan amount. New loan. This bank can make 80 million new loan, which is equal to excess reserves. Okay, the Lamai. So total loan amount, the value of loan that this bank can make. Clear, Lamai? Are you okay? Ramoni? Nara?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Right. Next one, Lamai. Multiple. That is the topic, Lamai. Right. Uh, Multiple money creation process of a commercial bank, or we can say deposit creation process. Now you know the how one bank, Lamai, one individual bank works in a banking system. Okay, the Lamai. In a banking system, Lamai, there are so many commercial banks. So every banks, when every banks makes loan like this, Lamai, using excess, Lamai, the finally banking system can create new deposits, Lamai. That is called deposit creation process, right? All banks in a banking system, Okay, make new loans using the excess reserves lamai. Finally, banking system as a whole, remember, one bank cannot create deposits, right? The entire banking system, when entire banking system engage with this lending process, finally the whole banking system, entire banking system, the banking system as a whole can create deposits, new deposits, right? uh, yes, that is called deposit expansion process of a commercial banking system, lamai. Just read. Actually, to understand this process, lamai, we need to discuss an example. Okay, then everything will go into your head, right? Theory won't work out, lamai. You can just read it. Aggregate process in which a competitive banking system can settle. Read these two paragraphs, lamai. A single bank in a banking system, a single bank in a banking system has a specific role. Now you know these three roles, lamai: accept deposits of public, retain required reserves, and extend or provide loans. Every commercial bank does this. What are the things? Number one, accept deposits, retain required reserves, and make a loan. As a result of this process, the money supply of the country shall essentially expand, thus known as money creation or money illusion. As I told you, the stage drama is money illusion. Then, Lamai, when analyzing this money creation process, Lamai, we use some assumptions to make this process simple, Lamai. Otherwise, it would be so complicated. So we use some assumptions, Lama. Example, all banks in the banking system strictly adhere to statutory reserve ratio. It means, Lama, every bank has to adhere, okay, has to follow central bank guidelines given, especially this SRR ratio, Lama. They have to keep SRR ratio as reserves, and no bank maintains excess reserve. Deposit this creation process, or when discussing this deposit expansion process of a banking system, we assume that banks do not keep excess reserve. Can lamai okkoma reserves are monada. Other than statutory part, all excess reserves given as loans. මේක එච්චර practical නෑ. හැබැයි අපි අර පොඩි assumption එකක් දානවා මේක නැත්තම් හරි අමාරුයි ළමයි. කියන එක තේරෙනවද? මේක ලොකු. These are assumptions, regarding your deposit creation process. We assume all banks adhere the statutory reserve ratio, and also lamai banks do not keep excess reserves. කියන excess නෑ ළමයි. හරි හරියටම තියෙන්නේ අර central bank එක කියන ගාන විතරයි. Then ළමයි, the bank after press bank receives and deposits. Puta, no need to talk about these points. It's better to do just example. Okay, the ළමයි. Then you can understand everything. But I'll do it next day, right? Don't have much time today. Also, Lama, I'm not fully recovered yet. Okay, the Lama. Remember this point, and Lama, remember your paper. Okay, is on Saturday night. 3-hour paper, Lama. Please, at least, Lama. Right? I want every one of you for more than 50. More than 50. Right? It will be 25 MC. No. Yeah, 25 MCQ. 25 MCQs there. And 2 questions from money and banking, Lamai. Give me 1 minute. I'll show you, not the paper. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, second paper lama, it will be 2-hour paper. Second paper, it's 2-hour paper. There are two sections, section A and section B. Lamai, section A, you have 3 questions. All questions from what we have covered so far. Okay, the Lamai, 3 questions, 320 marks question. Part B consists of 2. Okay, the Lamai. 2. Altogether, 5 questions there. You need to answer only 3, Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. But remember, when selecting 3 questions, Lamai, you have to choose at least 1 question from part B. Okay, this is totally from money and banking, Lamai. It's been 2 questions from part A and 1 question from part B. There are 2 questions from money and banking. Okay, only from what we have covered so far. Okay, the Lamai, types of money and money supply, special, and what we discussed last day, that very important, the structure, asset and liability structure of a commercial bank. Okay, the Lamai. And then you need to answer 3 questions. 3 into 20 marks means 60 Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. 3 hours. Then press paper Lamai, it will be 1 hour paper. 1 hour paper, only it consists of only 25 mc. You get the point, Lamai? This is the structure of the paper, Lamai. It starts at 7:30 to 10:30. Clear, Lamai? Right. Okay, Lamai. That's enough. See you next day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.